when I'm in the Christmas parades, I see a number of people in each parade impersonating Grinch. And the spectators don't throw stones or anything else at those impersonators.
Hello again, and we're back with Suzanne Muldowney, and she's going to talk about villains.
There are a great many bad people in the world, both real and fictional. But I'm talking about some villains that are popular rather than notorious. See, Christmas is coming up, and I see a lot of attention focused on Christmas time villains that are popular, sometimes with kids, one of them is, and then another one is popular for just about any age, particularly when it comes to impersonation. Actors who try to impersonate the villains that I'm thinking of are not given a hard time for doing it. They're lauded. They're glorified.
Well, because it's a performance.
What?
It's a performance.
Yes. But still, portraying these particular villains doesn't result in ill treatment or notoriety. It results in praise and sometimes even immortalization.
But why do you feel they should be villainized for portraying a villain? If it's an art form. They're not villainous characters themselves. They're actors portraying somebody who is.
Yes.
So why do you feel that they should be treated badly because they're portraying a villain?
No, I'm saying that what I said before, some villains are popular rather than notorious, and especially when it comes to dramatic impersonation, the impersonators are lauded and not ill-treated.
Oh, is it because they're glorifying the villain rather than vilifying them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Their performance is so good at portraying a villain that people applaud that. So your objection is that they're actually applauding the villainous character.
Yes.
Okay, I see. So what examples do we have for that?
I mentioned that one is popular with children. I don't know how young they would be. I just know that the book about this villain is one that adults encourage very young children to read when they're trying to teach those children to read.
Okay, who is the villain?
The Grinch.
Oh, the Grinch, yes. So, but they don't really glorify the Grinch.
What?
I mean, no one really likes the Grinch.
But he's one of these villains that I say is popular rather than notorious because they show the TV cartoon about him every year when Christmas is approaching.
But it's more it's like a lesson. You know, if you do bad things, bad things will happen to you. It's not shown in a positive way. Like no one really wants to be the Grinch.
Well,
Maybe
when I'm in the Christmas parades, I see a number of people in each parade impersonating Grinch. And the spectators don't throw stones or anything else at those impersonators.
Well, let's hope not.
Yes, please don't throw stones at the Grinches.
It's just a person dressed up as a character. You don't want to hurt him.
But you do have to pay attention to the entire story because it is a redemption story ultimately, right?
The only thing that's wrong with it is they say that the Grinch is struggling to pull back the sled with the megatons of gifts on it, and then the text says, and then the true meaning of Christmas came through, but but he just picks up the sled and heads back to the town. They didn't. The narrator didn't say anything about the nativity, the Christ child, because that is what Christmas is all about.
Okay, so that's always your objection to the fact that things are glorified, that Christmas is about nativity and birth of Christ, but people celebrate Santa Claus and in this case Grinch.
The Grinch disguises himself as Santa, but it was wrong for the author to eliminate any mention of the Christ child. He makes the inhabitants of the town concentrate on fellowship, friendship, and of course the presents.
Right, so the focus on the presents, which is a material thing, is also negative because it shouldn't be about the material things.
Yes.
Yeah, so you think the whole thing is basically going the wrong way.
It's based on the presence or absence of presents, hinting that getting presents on Christmas is a privilege that countless children have to earn.
But it also focuses on material possession rather than what you say should be about the birth of Christ.
Well, if the Grinch is supposed to learn the true meaning of Christmas and then return all the stolen goods, then then the narration has to include the Christ child, or the message is incomplete.
Yeah, or is it completely wrong? Yeah, it's missing the point, right?
Yes.
Okay. So who's another villain that we should talk about?
At Christmas time?
Yeah, sure.
Well, the other villain's been around for, this year, 180 years. And I've seen quite a few dramatizations of the pertinent story.
Mm-hmm. And which is?
Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol.
Okay, so we're talking about Scrooge now, right?
Yes, Scrooge.
So Scrooge, does anyone dress up as Scrooge for the Christmas
No,
parades?
very, very rarely have I seen recreations of any of the parts of the Christmas Carol. I do my part by dressing as the Ghost of Christmas Past, and when I write commentaries for those parades, I make sure that the MC says that I'm bidding the spectators or the entire public to think back to a specific Christmas past, 1843. That's when the novel was published.
Okay, and what do you dislike about Scrooge the most?
He's middle-aged or elderly when the story begins, and he's a miser with money. He underpays his employee, Bob Cratchit, and argues about Bob having Christmas Day off.
Okay, so that's your main complaint about Scrooge? That's what you don't like about him the most?
That he's a miser with money. Mm-hmm. And then when the Ghost of the Past has Scrooge look into his own past, we do see how he was a good family member and a friendly employee of the warehouse owner, Fezziwig. That Fezziwig throws a Christmas party for his family and the employees. And then later we see Scrooge, a bit older, having it out with his girlfriend, his fiancée. So obviously he was a decent, heart-warmed character earlier in life, but then turned away to focus more on money and gain. The fiancé says, until the master passion, gain, surrounds you.
Mm-hmm. So you feel that because he had a fiancé, he must have been an okay person before.
Yes.
What if she just has really bad taste in men?
What?
Maybe she just had really bad taste in men.
I don't understand.
Maybe she just really likes the horrible people.
Well, she broke up with Scrooge. She went away, so Scrooge never saw her again.
Okay, so we have two villains for Christmas, and then can you add a couple more outside of Christmas time?
The thing that comes to mind is the comic TV series about Batman. Each week he had a different foe. I'm sure the viewers can recall some of, if not all of the villains, but the important thing is the actors who portrayed those villains were treated the same way as those who were either the voice of the Grinch or Scrooge in Flesh and Blood. Their performances were lauded, not condemned.
So do you feel that maybe you should hire bad actors to play villains, so this way no one appreciates the performance? So maybe that way to handle it?
You have to watch out that you don't see the bad guys as strictly bad. They're either arrested and jailed in the case of Batman, or they're driven to reform, like the Grinch and Scrooge.
So they shouldn't. The villain should not be charismatic.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that new movie a couple years ago, Joker, with River Phoenix?
With what?
Joker, the movie with River Phoenix. Not River Phoenix. Sorry, Joaquin.
Yeah.
River Phoenix died.
Yes.
That would be something.
That would be good.
They did a whole movie about the Joker. He's the main character.
No, I haven't seen it because I'm really not interested in Batman.
Mm-hmm. But how do you feel about a villainous character have a whole movie about? They made a whole movie
what
about a
age
Joker.
group is it meant for?
He was an adult, so it was a fairly serious movie.
Yeah, it wasn't for little kids.
Yeah.
It's like a PG-13 or above.
Live
I guess.
action.
I forget what it was.
Yeah. It was more psychological.
Do you feel the villainous character
Yeah.
deserved their own movie, basically?
If a villainous character is made the focus of a drama, it does justice to him. If he's imprisoned, made to pay for his evil ways, or in some cases, some villains I've thought of get killed.
Mm-hmm. So only if they're taught a lesson.
What?
They should only get a movie of their own if they're taught a lesson. They learn something, or they're punished somehow.
Yes.
Not the Joker, then.
No.
That movie did not end that way.
What?
That movie did not end with him being punished.
All right, but maybe if you end up seeing it, maybe we can discuss that.
Yeah. There was. Were there any more?
You have one more villain?
There's one that I can think of, but he's not appropriate to propagate at Christmas time.
Well, in general, it doesn't have to be Christmas time.
I really don't want to mention him.
No. How about Dracula?
That's the one.
That's the one. Okay, but we don't have to show this at Christmas. I'm just saying, and that's interesting because you also choose to portray Dracula.
I'm what to portray that?
You portray Dracula as well.
Yes, but I
So
make sure
puts an
to
interesting
show him as strictly evil. In the case of the real Dracula, Vlad the Impaler, I lunge with my stake even though I don't actually pierce anybody. And he was totally mortal. He met his end in war and battle.
So do you feel that you should be lauded for your performance of Dracula?
I I think so because other impersonators were made famous or even immortalized for portraying that character, and also because I did it in a yet unused medium, dance.
Okay, but how is that different when you said that it's unfortunate that other actors get lauded and given awards and maybe monetary reward for portraying evil characters well, but you do the evil character really well too?
Well, as the Prince Impaler, Dracula was killed off in battle, and he couldn't possibly have evolved into a vampire without dying because his head was cut off and displayed on a pole in front of his political and religious enemies, the Turks. Okay. As the vampire, he's always killed off in some impersonation, but sooner or later, another impersonation, another story comes around which always revives him.
But since your portrayal of Dracula is very interesting and good, let's say, and deserves to be recognized.
Yes, especially if the impersonator is using a medium previously unused.
Okay, so let's agree that you deserve to be recognized for what you did with Dracula. Why shouldn't be somebody recognized for portraying, let's say, Hannibal Lecter or the Joker or somebody else?
I've heard about Hannibal Lecter. Does Anthony Hopkins do him justice?
Well, I think he did a great job with that character, yeah.
But is Hannibal Lecter finished off, or what happens to him?
Well, he enjoys some liver with fava beans, I think.
I don't know if he ever
they never caught
is
him, right?
caught, yeah, or redeemed in any way.
In a cable TV channel called Reels, I learned about some real life serial killers who got their just desserts in the end.
Okay, but the question was more about if your performance deserved to be rewarded and recognized, why shouldn't be somebody playing a Joker who did it well be recognized?
I really can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay, so then any performance, any good performance that's above average, let's say, should be recognized.
Yes, even if you're portraying a bad person, you have to prove that he or she is bad, and somehow or will be punished in the end.
Okay, so even if that person dresses as a Grinch and it does a good job of the parade, there's just to get us some applause at least.
Yes.
Okay, so we shouldn't throw stones at it.
Seeing the redemption or punishment is always nice.
Yes.
But, you know.
Okay, do we have another villain or should we?
Do I what?
Do you have another villain to bring up or no?
No.
No. Okay. I guess we're done with the villains for now. So thank you, Suzanne, for bringing up a pretty interesting topic. A lot of people are interested in villains. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.